All right, so this is episode 151 of United and Everything Football Podcast. Someone had to remind us that not too long ago, we celebrated episode 100. All throughout this year and the last year and the year before that, you have been with us on this podcast. Something that started just a friendly conversation between myself and Kwame has traveled this far. And we have got you to enjoy so much that you have become our key patrons every single time. I really appreciate all of you subscribing. And every time we come here to call for subscribers, we get some. But we will never stop asking because we need a lot more. I think we are so good enough you should subscribe to this channel because we know you enjoy every bit of information we bring to you here on United and Everything Football. Here we discuss everything Manchester United, everything. We analyze, we break down, we try as much as possible to get you the latest information on what's happening here on this beautiful podcast. My name is Kwame, and I always do this with my buddy, my best friend, my everything, my Kwame Nchubuesiako, always here with me. Kwame, great to have you on the podcast, episode 151.
151. When we saw that was it on YouTube?
It was on YouTube. Yes. One of our very ardent followers mentioned.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, we did a montage or something.
Yes. Yeah, we did one.
I'm sure he remembers. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a cool message to read. Actually.
Yes. It was. I mean, your messages are refreshing. It's encouraging. The criticisms, we take all of it, we listen to all of it, we watch all of it. And if you see different aspects or if you see different things, it means we are listening to your feedback and we are taking a lot of them into consideration because without you, we are nothing. It is you who give us legitimacy to operate. If we are to post a podcast and we have 0 views, I'm sure we wouldn't be encouraged to come here to do that. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Time and everything for being on the podcast. And thank you for all your complimentary messages. But we are here to discuss United and Everything Football. Today, we'll be talking about the transfers, but we are taking a different twist. Sometimes, you know, most of you don't understand the actors or the people behind the transfers and who does what and what is the current structure with Man United's transfers at the moment. You've probably heard of the sporting director or the director of football. You've heard of the recruitment director, or you've heard about the head of negotiations. Who are these people? Well, we'll bring all of these people or 2 major people within the structure in focus today. Today, we are talking about the director of football, Jason Wilcox, and then Christopher Vivell, who is the recruitment director. Now, the reason why we are doing that is because someone asked us specifically. I've always said that we are here for you. Someone asked us specifically to do some sort of profiling of Christopher Vivell. We said, why not add the recruitment or the director of football as well and give you a very broad insight into how transfers are done at Manchester United as well. So we'll be doing that on this episode. And you know, because you're in the transfer season, there is no way we would be here without talking about what is happening. Although it's been quite slow in terms of concrete news, still there is news that is coming in, especially on the parts that we've been very worried about, the outgoings. So there is some things to talk about the outgoings that we'll be sharing with you on Andrew Onana, on Jadon Sancho, on Anthony, and even today, Marcus Rashford as well. So we'll be talking about all of that here on United and Everything Football. Let's make a quick turnaround. When I come back, we'll delve into all of this here on this podcast. All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to the podcast. Remember, subscribe, pause the video. You've given us 200 likes back to back. So I'm going to ask for more. Make it 300. So you know what? Pause the video right now. Yes, you watching right now. I'm going to wait for you for some few seconds. All right. Click on the like button. Click on it. And if you have not subscribed, click on the subscribe button. Click on it. Yes. This one is a command. I am commanding you. Subscribe to the channel, like, and also share your comments. Kwame, we have a lot to talk about today. We'll see how best we can. Anytime we do 1 hour, people are excited, but it's not easy. It's not easy. The editing and other things, it's not easy, but we are trying our best. We don't have any sponsors.
Give the people what they want. Give the people what they want.
They
If they
should, they
want
should,
1 hour, give them 1 hour.
they should find some way to come and sponsor us. We have an advertising slot there. Oh. Come and if you have sponsors, reach out to us on our email. We want to give us something local so we can pay our editor. Yeah? The guy is working so hard. Yeah? Anyway.
Super hard, actually.
Yeah.
Super hard.
Yes. Anyway, so today we are here to talk to you about something very interesting. Well, earlier this week, The Athletic released a very interesting article on Jason Wilcox and the kind of person he is and how he's risen over time to become who he is. Now, for those of you who don't know or who have not watched our previous episodes, I mean from last year coming when he was approached to become the technical director at that time. We did some short, some short background of who he is and what he's become. Well, Wilcox, if you don't know, is a former Premier League winner. He won it in 1994, 1995 with Blackburn Rovers. If you also don't know, he once played with Rio Ferdinand at Leeds United. He has 3 caps to his name from the English national team. Well, and he's one person who has, spent time within the English game. And he's one person that Omar Barada regards so much. He says he's a man who has a blend of understanding the English culture when it comes to the football and also having spent so much time with Pep Guardiola has grown in his technical knowledge. And he finds it to be something very rare. Having a proper or a deep understanding of football and also blending it with the English football culture. Manchester United exists in England. We play in the English Premier League. So if you need anyone, you need someone who has a very good blend of the English culture, understanding the game and everything. So that is Jason Walker. So he has been the academy director at Man City for a very long time. For anyone who understands career progression, when you stay in a particular position for a very long time, it gets to a point where you feel like, okay, when another position comes somewhere which would probably make me or give me greater responsibility and give me a higher status, I'll definitely go to pick that particular job out. I'll give an example. You know Nick Cox, right? Nick Cox was the academy director at Manchester United. You know what has happened to him now? He's leaving. The news is that he's going to Everton to become their technical director as it stands, to be able to take charge of greater things. So he has been managing the academy, and then he's going to take a different position at Everton. And that is exactly what happened to Jason Wilcox. He was with Manchester City's academy. And if you check the production line of Man City's academy over the period, I'm sure you will have an understanding of the kind of person he was and what he brought to the Manchester City academy. Tiki Bergestan is on record to have said that no one in City's structure had eyes in spotting good talent than Jason Wilcox. And that is what he's been referred to as. Now, Sir Jim Ratcliffe said something very profound about him during one of those interviews that he gave during March when he was going around speaking to the media a lot. He says that all United have got is Jason Wilcox's eye. Bemoaning no data. we in terms of our recruitment, all we've got is Jason Wilcox's eye. So it tells you the kind of person he is and how much quality he brings to the fore. And it's no surprise to people around Manchester United and Manchester City that he has risen to this level with respect to the job that he's doing. I am in no way saying he's going to be successful or otherwise. All I'm trying to do is to give you the record or the track record that he brings to the job. He has helped build City's academy. He has helped produce a lot of players. You can see the players that through his handiwork has come through the City academy, from Cole Palmer to Liam Delap to Morgan Rogers to who? Mention them, Romeo Lavia, all of these players, Jadon Sancho's, all of these players.
Our very own
Jadon Sancho, Austin Darabiu, all of these players. And it was during his tenure that City's under 18 and under 21 were winning the league back to back to back to back to back. So it tells you how much of a quality he has. And one of the key attributes that has been credited to him has to do with the fact that he's one of the people who is able to spot when a player is able to or is ready to make a transition from youth football to the men's game. And that's one key thing that he has been credited for. Now, ever since Dan Ashworth left Manchester United as the sporting director, Wilcox has played that role as a sporting director, although not officially with that name tag. He has taken on those responsibilities and has been acting as a sporting director. It was until recently that he was confirmed as the sporting director. Ever since he came in, he has been able to bring in some young players, or has been able to tap some young players into the Man United fold. And one key player is Aiden Heaven. And if you know the story, Heaven was courted by a lot of these clubs, including Chelsea, Newcastle United, who offered far more serious financial packages, more than Man United did. But Wilcox was able to find a way to tie down the gentleman. He was able to bring him to Old Trafford, got him to meet Ruben Amorim, explained to him the kind of role he's coming to play, and even made sure that he explains to him how the three-back system that Ruben Amorim is going to play is going to, influence his career, or going to help project his career, and etc., etc. To that we're able to get that young chap for £1 million and little over £1 million. That is what Jason Wilcox has done so far. So now he's tagged to lead the lines with regards to our transfers and to lead our recruitment and the overall football structure. Remember, the director of football is not just related to recruitment. There is a wider spectrum that you have to fit in. There's the women's team, there's the youth team. You have to ensure that all of these cogs are coming together to make the sport, to create a very good environment, to create a very good sporting atmosphere, so that the team can have something to build on to be able to become successful. That is what Jason Wilcox is seeking to do. Now, from that Athletic article, I saw something very interesting. For those of you who are probably wondering why perhaps the Mbeumo deal hasn't gone through, there is a line, or there is a paragraph in the article that probably would speak to that. I'm just speculating at this point. I'm not saying it's on authority, but there was a very interesting line that has to do with the way he goes about his negotiations. All right. And this is what it is. I'm projecting it so that he says that by adopting and often refusing to budge from hard red lines, some sources argue that Wilcox has at times allowed good deals to unnecessarily break down. Although it could fairly be argued that he has simply served the best interests of the club, some of those who have dealt with Wilcox contend that his intransigence has ultimately forced United to settle for inferior terms further down the line. That, however, that is a contrast. That, however, is far from a unanimous view. This is an article from The Athletic. One group of people, or certain people within the industry, believe that he has a certain hardline stance when it comes. He doesn't normally budge. He plays some sort of a hard negotiator, and as a result of that, he won't allow you from the other side have his way. That is why perhaps the United tax is we are trying to play down that United tax that other teams are trying to enforce on us. But there is a contrasting view that others believe that Wilcox to be among the most impressive operators at his level, appreciating his unassuming but authoritative manner, not a salesperson or a shouter. Some have found that he can be sincere and refreshingly to the point, never using 20 words when 10 words would do. So this is the kind of person who is leading our football structure. Now, that's enough on Wilcox. Let me scale it down.
Oh no!
Kwame, you want to say something?
Wilcox.
I wanted to get to
chip in. Oh no! I just want to chip in this on Wilcox, because you took an extract from the article.
Okay.
I have an extract from the article as well, which
let's go.
Interest to people.
Let's go.
And it's got to do with his role at Manchester United so far.
Mm-hmm.
Because if fans do remember, he was the one who was tasked with assessing Erik ten Hag's tenure.
Yeah.
He was asked to review Erik ten Hag's training methods, watch how players interact with each other, even interviewed players, interviewed staff around the coaching staff, everybody else, and came to the conclusion that Erik ten Hag is not the man for the job. If fans do remember this. And in the summer, there was this debate as to whether we have to go for a new coach. In fact, we're after a new coach. Tuchel. Tuchel was the man that we're after. Not Ruben Amorim, despite the fact that he was also on the list. But
why did he reject Ruben Amorim at that point?
Yes, I'm come to read it after I've actually also projected so that you guys can also see it. Wilcox was one of those to hold reservations over hiring Amorim from Lisbon's Sporting CP at the time. We're talking about the summer when we were looking for a coach. He raised the challenges of changing to a back three system during the first summer of a new executive's understanding the extensive recruitments that will be required, and also highlighted the rarity of a team winning the Premier League using this formation.
Then what happened? What changed?
Then, in autumn, when Erik ten Hag was sitting in the bed, and we had to make the change, by that time, Wilcox had changed his mind.
What happened? Why did he change his mind? Talk to us about it.
As Sporting continued to blaze through Portugal's Primeira Liga and get results in the Champions League, Wilcox supported the decision to appoint Amorim, having led United's technical evaluation of Ten Hag's potential successors, which identified him as the leading candidate. He has since established an excellent relationship with the Portuguese, regularly watching his training sessions, and the pair speak daily. Wilcox had good dialogue with Ten Hag towards the end of the Dutchman's reign too, but the connection with Amorim is much stronger. If fans do remember, it was this same Wilcox who was tasked with developing a game model for Manchester United. And many have misinterpreted the game model to mean formation. So it means that he is the one who has set the formation, and then the coaches have to fit into that. But to debunk that, that is how come I read what I read to you. He didn't even think that this formation is a formation that can even win the Premier League. He also was very skeptical about bringing in a manager at the very early stages of their tenure in charge of Manchester United, playing a formation that he's not comfortable with. That will require a lot of changes for the formation to be successful. This tells you that the game model isn't formation. So I looked into it. What is game model? What do they mean in football terms, in soccer terms? What do they mean
about
what is a game model? So game model by definition, I've looked it up. I'm projecting so you guys can read it. In football, a game model is the overarching tactical philosophy and playing style that a team adopts, guiding their approach to both offensive and defensive play and how the players interact with each other. It further goes on to say a game model it goes beyond tactics. It's not just tactics. In fact, tactics, the game model determines what tactics you want to play. It's on the coach. You choose the tactics you want to play, but the game model can also encompass the team's culture, the playing style, and even the individual characteristics of the players. In essence, a game model is more than just a formation. It's a comprehensive approach to playing the game that shapes the team's identity and helps them pursue their objectives. One of the issues that Wilcox had with Erik ten Hag was that he asked Erik ten Hag to change the style of play to a possession-based type of football. If you remember, Erik ten Hag tried to explain our style of football. And then he said it is a combination of transition football and the Ajax football based on the kind of players that we have. A lot of us were disappointed with him saying that because when he was coming in, we were thinking he was coming to play a possession-based style of football. But he came in and he was playing transition football. One may argue that despite the fact that you have spent £600 million, you could have changed it to the kind of football that you're actually suited to. Yet, a lot of the players that we had were better in transition. Wilcox looked at the games. He watched us to the tail end of last season and was not satisfied with the way we were playing. In fact, we're all not satisfied with the way that we're playing. We're not playing the players were not coordinated on the football pitch.
Yeah.
Things were not working well, despite the fact, and Varane came out to talk about the fact that even the relationship between the players was broken at a point in time. That is the game model. He wants us to play possession-based football, and this was reiterated by Amorim himself when he took charge of the football club. That ideally, whatever that we have been watching his Manchester United team play is not how he wants Manchester United team to play. He wants us to come teams in their half, dominate possession, win the ball back quickly, essentially just have possession of the football all the time. Pep Guardiola can change formations how many times that he likes. It doesn't really matter. But you can see the clear philosophy and style of play. It is possession-based football. They try to win the ball back as quickly as possible and completely dominate you in your half.
So we want people to hear us out. It is not about possession. Anytime we come here to talk about it's like
it's not about formation.
Anytime we come here to talk about Amorim, it is talking about the game model, the approach to play, and everything. Kwame, continue.
And how the players are coordinated and interact with themselves on the football pitch. Yeah. That is what it's all about. This is what we want to see.
Yeah.
So until we see that with Amorim, it is unfair to just judge him based on the formation. We have hired a manager who has set his eyes on playing the same formation every single time. It doesn't mean that in the case that we have to change Amorim, we are going to go for a 3-4-3 manager. That is the point that I'm trying to make here. We are going to go for a possession-based manager, irrespective of the formation that this manager wants to play.
So the game model is set, clear. This is how we want to play. So if a manager is coming in, you are coming in to fit the game model that has been set. True or false?
It's as simple as that.
Okay. And when you are recruiting players that can effectively function in that kind of game model, because you are looking at characteristics that is like, or that has a high chance of matching the kind of game model you want to play. True or false?
100% correct.
Okay. Please go on.
I'm projecting this as well so that people see exactly what happened between Wilcox and Erik ten Hag. New Manchester United technical director Jason Wilcox has instructed, this was tail end of last season, has instructed Erik ten Hag to implement a possession-based style of play, potentially replacing the current transition tactics. Yeah. If anybody's looking for where I'm getting this from, it's simple Google. Just Google Wilcox game model, Erik ten Hag. It will come up exactly what I'm reading to you. This shift in tactical approach is reportedly a key factor in Ten Hag's future at the club, with Wilcox reportedly telling him to adopt this new style or face the sack. The new approach is expected to be implemented starting with the game against Sheffield United. We're talking about last season.
Yeah.
Here's a more detailed breakdown. Wilcox mandate. Wilcox, who recently joined as technical director, has reportedly told Erik ten Hag that a change in play style is absolutely necessary. Possession-based football. Wilcox wants Ten Hag, reiterating, to move away from the current transition-based tactics and embrace a more possession-oriented approach. The consequences of the failure to implement this new style could lead to Erik ten Hag's dismissal, according to reports. So basically, you didn't hear any talk of play this formation or play this. It's about playing a particular brand of football. This is why they've appointed Amorim. But my issues here is, if you didn't believe he was the one for you in the summer, what changed after 2 months? Just a few more games in the Champions League.
But there was a reason. It was blazing through the Premier League in the Champions League.
I know. You're talking about just a few more games because we have just started the season 2 months.
Maybe he did an extensive evaluation again. Maybe. Just maybe.
And my other concern with that is, he said we need extensive changes to the squad for this manager to be successful. Meaning that if you knew you could not do those changes by the time that you were appointing him, it was simply a poison chalice for the manager at the time because you knew it was not going to work. Further concerns for me is, if the season has ended and the transfer window has started, and you know that by last November, you needed extended changes to this particular squad to help this manager. Why have we just signed one player?
But the window has about some 1 month or something.
We've seen this story before, Kwame. 1 month, 1 month, and then
the window has 2 months to go. So what is the rush? Me, I'm telling you.
What's the rush?
Why is your rush?
What is the rush? We have signed 3 players for Amorim since he came. 3.
Yes.
Aiden Heaven.
Yes.
Dogu.
Yes.
And now Cunha.
Yeah. Yes.
Me, I'm waiting for the extensive changes because I've told you that already. My issues with Ineos with this window is not with Eric. It's not with Amorim.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Ineos.
Yeah.
So if you claim that you need extensive changes for this money, I want to see those extensive changes.
But
we have bought 1 player and we have not sold anybody.
Oh, okay. But you can't. You know something about this Amorim thing. You can't just limit his window to. I mean, that's his window. He's had just the January and this one. But if you look at the game model and other things, Jason Wilcox was objecting a lot of people back then. He's the one who objected Amrabat and then brought in how do you call it, Ugarte, right? And he brought in some technical players who can fit into the game model already. The likes of
no, hold on. That window had shut. Autumn means that we're in December, November thereabout. That is autumn. October, November. That is when they sacked the old manager.
I get you, but the point
and appointed a new manager.
Ever since they came in, whatever recruitment they are doing is geared, no matter what, is geared towards the game model. So irrespective of the coach.
Fine. Fair enough. It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
I'm trying to make.
It's a fair point. So, my only concern is his reference to the fact that this formation has won the Premier League only once.
Yes.
Conte.
As far as we know.
Conte with Chelsea.
That's the facts, actually. Yeah.
And for this formation to succeed, he makes the point that it needs extensive changes to the squad. I get the point that you are making, that whatever player that we are signing is for the game model and not a particular formation. Yeah. But the reference to we need extensive changes after you've appointed him and we've made only 3 signings and not sold anybody is of concern to me. I'm just saying.
I'm asking you, 2 months to go. What is your problem? What is your
we did. I don't have any problem. No, see. We'll find out whether I have a problem or you have a problem or other people have a problem in the next.
I'm only asking a question. I'm saying, look, you see, that is the fact. The fact is we have 2 months to go. The window shuts 1st September. We are in June. Today is June what? June, I can't even see it. June 21st or so. So what is your problem? Haven't you seen Samuel Lackett say that?
I don't have a problem.
July is going to be a blast. Haven't you read it?
I don't have a problem.
I
don't have any problem.
I'm just saying that. Relax. 2 months.
Let's get on to the next guy on the strike.
So now, to continue, the new structure has Jason Wilcox leading the football department, and also there's also Matt Hargreaves, who is the head of football negotiations. If you remember, Hargreaves came from Adidas. That was either last 2 seasons or last season. And he's part of the people that have been maintained after the aggressive redundancies that was made. He's part of the people that have been maintained. And also there is Christopher Vivell. Now Vivell is the head of recruiter. Remember, he came on an interim basis to help in recruiting players, and over time I am sure he performed satisfactorily and has had his position confirmed. So these are the people that are making the key decisions or are running the operations. But when it comes to the people that are making the key decisions, this is what Sir Jim Ratcliffe said. He says the decision is made by Jason, Omar, Ruben, and a bit of himself in it. A bit of himself being Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So these are the people that make the decisions. So I've introduced you to the people who run the operations. So it's 2 different things. The operations has to do with the job getting done, or they may go into the process of identifying and everything, maybe presenting a report to the decision makers. Then the decision makers will debate amongst themselves, I'm sure, and will say that, okay, based on, Jason would say that, okay, based on our game model with Ruben, this is the kind of player that we need. And then the decision will be affirmed by the owner and perhaps Omar, and then the operations people will continue. So Matt Hargreaves will go and lead the negotiations, and then they will go and we'll see how things pan out. So this is how the structure looks like in terms of the decision making, at least from what we are reading from a credible source of the Athletic. Let me state a credible source, which is the Athletic. The last time someone in the comment section came to ask, where do we get our sources from? And I'm giving you the source. So if you doubt the Athletic, maybe that's there's nothing I can do about it. But they have proven over time to be a very, very credible source. All right. So this is how the structure looks like. So as I mentioned, there was a gentleman in there called Christopher Vivell, and he's done extensive work. But I'll make Kwame give us a small talk about Christopher Vivell, who he is and what he brings to the table, and then let me go for a quick break. When I come back, I'll make Kwame do that, and then we'll talk about the transfers, the outgoings, and everything involved here on United and Everything Football. We trust that you're enjoying this episode because it's quite educating. I mean, educative. We're trying as much as possible to try and bring to you some of the things that perhaps you hear. We've tried as much as possible to organize it very, very well, so you have a very clear understanding of how the whole structure works and who plays what role and who does what, so that when you hear the rumors and other things, you are not all over the place, or getting deceived by anybody on social media. All right, so this is why we are here to educate, to serve, to analyze, to break down, so you have a perfect understanding of issues. We'll be right back after this quick break. All right, welcome back to United and Everything Football. Pause the video. Are you sure you have liked? Have you liked? If you've not liked it, this is another opportunity to like the video. Press the like button. Subscribe if you've not subscribed. Here on United and Everything Football. Kwame, what do you have about Christopher Vivell? Who is he and why is he credited for a lot of work done or what work is he credited for with the line of work has had over time?
I'm proud to say he's German.
He's German.
He's German, and he comes from Karlsruhe. He's German, so I'm proud. Anyway, so his work started at Hoffenheim about close to a decade ago. He started as a scout and a video analyst for the German club. But the best work that he's done so far was with the Red Bull group. You know, Red Bull. That is Liefering, Salzburg, and
Leipzig. Yeah.
Exactly. That's where his track record actually exists. And it's basically based on a record of bringing in younger players and turning them into superstars, either for the clubs under these programs or whether they are actually developed and sold to other clubs for humongous amount of money. And the list of players that he has actually scouted, brought through, especially through the RB group, is incredible. From Soboslai to Haaland to Adeyemi to Šeško. Max talked about, and then this guy Givardio.
Vardio.
The City guy. In fact, the list is long, but he's worked for this RB group as well as another multi-club project, which is Chelsea's. So in fact, this is the third multi-club project that he's working in. It tells you that we are looking for a particular person who works under a particular model, and we've specifically picked him to be able to fit into what we are trying to do because we want to implement this whole multi-club model as well. You get what I'm trying to say? So, for instance, if you take a player like, I'm going to use one player as an example, Soboslai. He was bought very, very cheap, 500,000 euros from a Hungarian club. Then he was moved to Salzburg, but he didn't immediately go to Salzburg. He played for Liefering. Liefering is like the farmers team, the feeder club, as we call it, for Salzburg, right? You play there in the lower league. If you're good enough, then you move to Salzburg, and from Salzburg, I think he was purchased from Salzburg, then to RB Leipzig, and eventually he moved to Liverpool for a huge amount of money. Similarly, Manchester United has, is it Lausanne in Switzerland?
Yes.
We have Nice in France, and then the mother club itself being Manchester United. So what you would expect is that he would go scouring the whole universe looking for players, and he's already pulled a coup in Sekou Kone. Got him from Mali, like Manchester United. You're asking yourself, how did Manchester United finally end up at Mali? It's uncharted territory for us.
Yeah.
But if you look through the whole RB thing, you can realize that he has a very, very
network,
deep connection,
yes,
especially on the African continent, because he's brought through a lot of African players.
Yeah.
A lot. The list is long. So it is no surprise that one of the first piece of business that he did as an interim basis, as the head of recruitment for Manchester United over the past. Now he's been made permanent. He has a bigger role to play. He will be working together with the man you talked about, Wilcox, to be able to scout players, not just for the first team, because that's not just his job. His job is not just for the first team. We're able to find diamonds, jewels, and more obis and whatnot. In fact, we've been signing some players who have not been confirmed yet. Even Diogo Leon, how they got to South America to get Diogo Leon, only God knows.
Diogo Leon, I hear that one was Wilcox.
Yeah. They are working together, but the job of these people now is to not just find players for the first team, get players through for the academy, because you have to improve the level of the quality of players in the academy. We spoke about how City have been able to produce so many players from the academy who are winning at academy level, and have transitioned that sort of form and success into first team football, and are playing in top teams, in top leagues all around, going for silly amount of money. The aim is that it's not just to find players for Manchester United, or find players for Nice, or find players for FC Lausanne. It's we're able to make good amount of money if these players do not even make it at Manchester United or any of these clubs. In this age of FFP and PSR and all that, selling homegrown players is one of the ways of going around the system for huge amount of money. People have been asking why the City have been able to sell this amount of players for this amount of money, Chelsea doing this and all that. It's because they get the best players from all around the world with the qualities to be able to play at a level that is required to be played. And eventually, when they do develop, they can be able to demand for the right amount of money that these players' value actually makes. So basically, that's what we are doing. But using the multi-club system is also a way of helping players to develop without pressure, to be honest. Like I spoke about the RB system. You play at Lefren, then you play at Salzburg. Can move from Salzburg to a bigger club, fine, no problem. But if you need to make the next step, they just buy you from Salzburg to Leipzig, a bigger league. You take that next jump, and then you keep on developing without any form of pressure. If, for instance, we want to continue to develop Sekou Kone, he doesn't necessarily have to do it at Manchester United, where he'll be killed after 1 or 2 bad performances. He can go to Lausanne.
Send him on loan to Lausanne.
Take his time to develop for about 6 to 10 months, 6 to 12 months. If anybody knows how Caicedo's development was at Brighton, it's very similar. But from South America, played academy level, went on loan to Belgium for 6 months, came back again without any pressure. He was playing there for about 1.5 years before making the jump to Brighton's first team. By that time, he was ready. You can take players through this same line or the same succession line without the pressure of trying to make it at Manchester United. Because the truth is, playing academy football all that while is not so beneficial. But if you can play in multiple leagues and gain different type of experience, first team football, it's great. So that's basically his role, his job. And I think he's off to a decent start. We can only hope for better.
We can only hope for better. So that's a quick one on Christopher Vivell and what he brings to the table. He also has some track record coming in. So we'll see how he's able to help in that regard, because our problem in the last 12 years, as we've all known, is recruitment. If you are not playing well, it's recruitment. We have said a lot of things about recruitment. So if it's time for us to, improve it, it's very, very important that we work very hard on that front. All right. So let's switch attention to the transfers. And it's been quiet on the incomings, albeit a lot of rumors At first, it started with a lot of noise about Emiliano Martinez of Aston Villa. It got so strong, and then in itself of the Daily Mail came to quash that at best it is the agents that are trying to push things on Manchester United. And Mopitiers also came to endorse that particular thing because he has also been speaking about it. As it stands, it looks as if our major preoccupation now is the Bryan Mbeumo deal. Fabrizio is still reporting that we are still in negotiation. David Onston reports that we are still in negotiation. Mbeumo, as we are made to understand, has chosen Manchester United. The news of Tottenham, you remember, you all realize that the news of Tottenham Hotspur has died out quietly because clearly it looked as if it was some sort of a decoy from Brentford, perhaps to get a lot of money. Duncan Castles come to also report that Brentford are holding out for a total package of about 70 million plus. Not too sure how true that is, but that's also the news out there. But as it stands, United are still negotiating with Brentford for Bryan Mbeumo. He's the major priority.
He's the priority. Yeah,
yes,
the priority. That's the key word now. Priority.
The major priority to get that particular deal over the line. Now, beyond that, I'll make Kwame sum everything up. So beyond that, there is the outgoings. So there's the issue of Jadon Sancho. Now, the news also has it that two clubs in Italy, Juventus and Napoli, are all going neck on neck for Jadon Sancho. That's good for us. That's good for us. It's good for us because it looks as if Sancho is close to agreeing something with Napoli. As it stands, Di Marzio is reporting that he has given Napoli some level of preference. Earlier on, there was this news of him not trying to lower his guard with regards to his wages. But if the news is coming that he's sort of given Napoli preference, it presupposes that there is some sort of an agreement in terms of the wages, or even if anything should happen, United will have to supplement. If you guys remember last time on our last episode, we tried to explain how that is going to work. And as it stands, his book value for this season is around 15 million pounds. It's around 15 million pounds. So perhaps United might hold out for some 30 million euros or 25 million euros to see if we could make some profit on and offset some of his wages, should in case Sancho would want to take everything from us, because knowing the kind of player he is, he's not willing to forfeit all of those things. So basically that's on that. Rashford today spoke to some people. He was training at Marbella in Spain, and he had some people sitting around him and he was granting an interview. I'm not too sure how much it fits into his general strategy. But prior to that, they said that Barca signing Nico Williams had very little or doesn't mean that they will still not pursue Marcus Rashford, and they want to find a way to make that deal happen. And Rashford is also willing to lower his wages so he could make that particular move happen. So the conversation around Spain, Lamine Yamal, and everything that happened today perhaps points to that. They are trying their very best to see how best that particular deal also happened. And Anthony also has teams chasing him, but he's also given preference to Real Betis. And he's also willing to lower his wages to ensure that that particular thing happens.
Only one man won't lower his wages.
Yes, only one man.
It's because he has a certain agent. Okay, it's okay. You let it go on, Andrew.
When I finish, I'll throw it to you, then you can do your analysis.
No, I don't have anything to say again.
I don't have anything to say. I'll throw it to you. When it comes, you can throw it away. I don't care. Anyway, Andrew Onana. So what is happening is that he's had an approach, he personally, not the club Man United, he's had an approach from AS Monaco. And that's according to L'Equipe and a few other tabloids. But he has stressed that he doesn't want to leave Manchester United. He doesn't want to leave.
I don't think a lot of people will be happy with this. What you're saying.
They won't be happy. But that is what he's saying. He doesn't want to leave Manchester United.
And I think the club is also not ready to push him out. Unless an offer comes that is deemed satisfactory, and the player is also willing to go.
Exactly. So this is where it stands now. So if Onana has not made it clear that he wants to leave, it becomes very difficult for Manchester United to say that we are kicking you out. All right. So what they are, it's not that it becomes difficult, but what United is waiting for is perhaps a club making an offer. But Onana himself is not encouraging other clubs to make an offer. So I've given my verdict already. The guy who
No, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Let's play by Indes, the one who goes, so that we get a decent
exactly, we get a
keeper
decent
who can offer better competition.
who can
That's my
come
only
in
hope.
there to come and do the job. So basically, that is it. A bit on the roundup of what is happening in the transfer or on the transfer front. So you could do that. Kwame,
did you speak about Martinez people?
Emiliano
rather
Martinez.
pushing
Oh no, I
the
said
thing
it.
you
That
spoke
was the
about.
first thing I actually said. That was the first thing I actually said. Where I said that Nate Salt from the Daily Mail came to quash it, and then Mopitius also came to endorse that particular.
We put up this poll on our Twitter handle, and then the question was, if you could have one player from Aston Villa because of their PSR issues, because everybody knows Villa is on red.
Yes, yeah,
they can't even buy anybody. They have to sell people before they can even think about buying players. They're the only Premier League club and Burnley, the newly promoted team, who have to sell before they can buy. And so people are thinking about their players. I think this is where the whole Emi Martinez thing comes. And I asked, the poll is, if you could pick one from Martinez, the striker, Oli Watkins, and Amadou Onana, who would you pick? And I was surprised by the results. Everybody, the majority went for Emi Martinez. I was like, hey, do we hate Onana that much? I get it. I know he's horrible. But we need a striker. We need
I voted for Oli Watkins because I felt we needed a striker. But you see,
I would have voted for either Oli Watkins or Amadou Onana because if you get this box-to-box midfield, it solves the midfield.
But Kwame, you can't fault people because of what has happened in 2 seasons. In 2 seasons, it's been an error.
Enough.
An error-strewn season for Andrew Onana. One error after the other. And there is enough people can take. And I'll give my verdict on Andrew Onana. I am one of the people who wanted Onana. I'm one of the people who supported.
Me too. I raised my hand.
And because
he has disgraced me.
Exactly. Because of the kind of qualities that he exhibited elsewhere and what he felt he could bring to the club Man United. See, you can go and check the records. At Inter, he wasn't making these errors. He wasn't. Right? And he was noted for his ability to help teams soak pressure and help the team build from the back. But since Onana came to Manchester United, the purpose for which we bought him has not been exhibited.
And he can't save the ball either.
He's not saving very well. He's not saving the ball very well. And the ball playing that we expect, because we find it very difficult building from the back.
Exactly.
That one, as you say in Tree, Bobo, it hasn't happened. So what
Kwame, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, Kwame.
There are others too. I'm asking on behalf of other people who don't even believe that if Onana is not the answer, or if Onana is the question, Emi Martinez is not the solution. Because there's also a catalogue of errors you can also attribute to this goalkeeper in the Premier League, especially in the past season. But on top of that, he's 32 years old. And the reported, now we know it's not true. But the reported fee that was going around, around 30 to 40 million pounds for a 32-year-old goalkeeper. I really wonder.
I mean, on the fee, it doesn't make sense to me. I think we could do better on that front. But when it comes to what he brings to the table, I mean, he's an experienced goalkeeper. I like that. You see, as an opponent, as his opponent, I don't like it. But when I'm on his side, I think I would like that. Do you know why? Because I think we have a lot of nice guys at United. There are so many nice guys on our pitch. You need people to, the Premier League is not one being so nice. That is one thing you need to know. Go and ask Alex Ferguson. Those of you who have not watched us back then, go and watch. We did everything, Samu. Everything, Sam. Okay, so we need that. I mean, he has his
Premier League proven. And I remember we've got Edwin van der Sar from Fulham also permanently proven. But even at older. It was like 36 or 37.
And he showed.
He played to his 40, you know that. He played at United to his 40.
Yes, you get it. For me, I have absolutely no question. If it's 30 million, I will take it. Honestly, I will take it.
I think for his age,
that's a goalkeeper.
He shouldn't cost. Yeah, I know it's a goalkeeper, but for his age, he still shouldn't cost more than 30 million pounds for me.
That's what I'm saying. For 30 million, I will take it. But more than that, no way. I'm not. For 30 million, I'll take it.
Well, I still think it should cost less than 30 million. Because,
but he has a contract up until 2029. That's what makes it complex.
Fair point. Okay, fair point.
That's what makes it complex.
Yeah,
and for a goalkeeper, he can keep the post.
He's supposedly the best goalkeeper in the world. He's been twice.
He's the world best goalkeeper.
World best. That's the most fake award ever. Everybody knows that he's not the best goalkeeper in the world.
But you know what? You can disagree with us on this particular point. We take it. I mean, you can share your points on or who you think. I mean, the other goalkeepers. For me, the thing that I want from my goalkeepers first is that you have to be a good shot stopper. Do your job.
It reminds me of this Aaron Wan-Bissaka Diogo Dalot issue. I always rated Aaron Wan-Bissaka over Diogo Dalot, and some people used to argue with me. And I used to tell them that, the thing is, I know what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. You that you're arguing with me. You know what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. At least you know he can defend.
What is Dalot good at?
What is Dalot good at? Then you'll be telling me you go around there. So I always go like a defender, at least. If they tag you defender, at least I want you to know how to defend.
Know how to defend. That's it.
If you don't know how to defend, then the other thing that you are supposed to be doing that everybody thinks you are good at, you'll be very, very good at.
Easy.
Like Trent.
Yes.
Trent, everybody knows he doesn't know how to defend.
Attacking wise,
but he's one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world. So everybody goes like, yeah, we kind of get it. Yeah. But this is sitting there like, I don't understand this Dalot guy you're talking about. It's the same thing with this thing you're saying, the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper, the basic that I expect you to be good at. Stop the shot. This ball playing. You know about you know me very well. I have an issue with this whole hipsters and this ball playing football, and they don't understand all these things. I've been watching football for a long time, and up to date, I still don't appreciate that type of football.
Just do your
football. I know it's a goal kick. It's a goal kick. The goalkeeper puts the ball there. Everybody goes up. Then you kick the ball in. Then we play. Split center backs. Then the wing back will go. The full backs will be inverted. Then the wing backs.
The Chelsea fans are charging on Maresca because he's playing Reece James, who is known as a very good right full back. He's playing him in midfield. While you have 50 million midfielder, a 50 million midfielder on your bench.
Football is a simple game.
It's a simple game.
It's not that complicated.
People are overthinking. Kwame, it's okay. Let's call it a day. You're United and everything.
It's turned into a conversation. We forgot what we're talking about.
All right. Thank you very much for being a part of the podcast. We truly appreciate your time with us. It's been so great having you on the podcast. Thank you for making episode 151 great. We will be back in the course of the week with our guest, a guest or two. We'll try and see if we'll get some very interesting guests. You watch out. I'll try and talk to them and see if they agree. We'll have a very interesting guest in the course of the week so that we have some very great discussion. I'm sure some developments will be on with regards to our transfers and we'll have a lot more to talk about. You asked for more minutes, we've given you more minutes. I intended that this would end in 30 minutes, but if people keep winning, we'll give it to you 50 minutes. Make sure you watch everything. And also share with your friends. Subscribe, like, and also leave a comment with us. We appreciate your time with us. Thank you, Kwame. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.